Hi everyone. So I figured I would do, I didn't do a TBR for January. I don't know if I'm going to do them every month. And so I kind of want to do a little bit of a recap of where I'm at and what my plans are. I mean, a little bit of my February maybe. I'm not really doing any challenges this year. I am doing the 52 book club. I'm doing this year's and 2022's. But the thing with those is like, you kind of can be very creative with how you interpret the prompts, and if I don't finish them, I don't really care. And so it's more of just something fun and, to kind of track some things and maybe inspire when I'm debating on what to pick. And then I'm also doing the one with the Bookish Drummer. They're 52, well, it's just like a challenge, but it's 52 prompts. Same thing. I'll probably I'll just do them as it makes sense. Last year I had all these challenges and I completed most of them. I did 24 for 24, which are the books I picked, and I ended up not finishing those. And so I didn't do 25 for 25. So there's a few things I want to do. Obviously I did the swap with Sir Chunk, so I will do that. I've already read one of those. And then I'm going to, I'll probably try to do monthly updates, but, again, it depends on if I've read anything. If I've read 2 books, I'm going to just save them. So I probably will do a January one. I've done a few things, but it might be, I was also thinking I might start doing sort of, if I don't read a lot, I could do like what I read, what I watched, and what I played. That might be something. So that's an idea. And then I have a couple sort of projects I want to work on. One is, well, actually, there's 3. The one is organizing my bookshelves. I got a lot of really nice books, like nice copies of books for Christmas. So I'm in the process of working on that, but it's been, we started this in September or October. And it's a process. So at some point I would like to, finish that and maybe do like a quick bookshelf tour. But, our library is just chaos right now. So that will be maybe something I do at some point. I'm also I want to reread. I was going to do ranking all of the Christopher Pike books, and that was something I was going to do. And then I realized I reread one and I was like, I have not read these in so long that it's so hard. I remember them a certain way, but obviously I haven't read them in a long time. So I think my goal, I don't know if it'll be done this year, if it will be a couple years, but I want to reread all of Christopher Pike's books, and then I can do a ranking of them all. Because I have read them all, but obviously it's been some time. And one of the things I found is I own most of them. And that's something I've been collecting over the years, is going back and getting old copies. But I downloaded a couple of them through the library, and I was like, well, I'll just read the digital ones. And I started to read one, and I was noticing they were talking about emails and texting, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, because these were written in the late 80s and early 90s. And apparently all of them were redone for digital, and ones that were republished, and they are modernized. And I don't know, I just don't want to read them that way. I want to read them the way I remember reading them, because it takes some of kind of why I liked them. I mean, I liked them when I was a kid, and, I don't know how they'll work, and I guess I could read them, and that might be something maybe even to do is, for some of my favorites, maybe I could read, the print one and then read the digital one. But again, so that's a big project. So that's going to take a while. There was another thing, I had mentioned I had a book about Sassy, a love letter to Sassy, and how it changed my life. And I have every issue. And so that's something I kind of want to work on, but I haven't read the book yet. And then I was thinking I could talk about the book and then actually talk about some of the issues. I have all of them. I've managed to collect them all. I went back and got them all because I used to subscribe. So I'd like to do that. And I was actually thinking of bringing that in, because I have this thing with old magazines. Like, I really love anything that's, like, old, like, collecting older things. And so, my husband got me a stack of, like, 60s and 70s teen magazines, for Christmas, just because I find them fun to read. I love reading, like, the advice and sort of fashions and just all of those, and, like, who was popular in terms of music and the heartthrobs. And, so I was actually thinking, like, when I finally do that, I also could do, like, okay, so Sassy was the 90s, and maybe, like, look at the 60s, and then maybe try to grab something from, like, the late 70s and early 80s, and kind of show, like, some of the differences. And, I mean, Sassy was a very unique magazine, and for those of you who know, and that's something I was thinking of talking about. It's just sort of, like, how much changes, but also how much stays the same in terms of, like, the problems of teenagers, right? So I don't know. That's something, again, a big project. I'm a nerd, so I like research projects and things like that. So it's kind of like a nerdy thing, but that's something I was thinking of doing. And then I also, everybody's always doing, like, oh, I'm going to be 28 this year, so 28 books before I turn 28, which I am way older than that. So I was thinking I'll be 50 in a few years. So I was thinking of doing, like, 50 books I want to read before I'm 50, or even, like, 50 books before I die or something. So I don't know. I was thinking of I made a list, and so I think I'll do a video of each of them and why, and the little bit I know about them and why it's been on my list, why I haven't read it yet, if there's a reason. So those are some of the things I want to work on. But that's where I'm at. I'm sorry I haven't really been, like, doing a lot. Kind of, doing okay, but, obviously there's some health stuff, and then, I'm just kind of living through, like, this existential dread right now, and so, like, there's a lot, that I'm dealing with, and, so it's been a lot, and I haven't felt very social, and, like, I guess, like, emotionally safe, or, like, well, so I haven't really wanted to engage a lot, so, I'm getting better, and I'm hoping to get better, and hopefully staying better. But that's what I'm working on. And then also, just as a side note, I know a couple of people have asked me, privately, about the whole Neil Gaiman thing, because obviously I've mentioned multiple times, pre-summer of 2024, for, like, the first year or so, is how much he was, like, one of my favorite authors, and I loved all his books. And I didn't do a video about it, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So first of all, the biggest reason is I don't really want to give a lot of oxygen to it, and I feel like, yeah, I know it can, like, help the algorithm and whatever, but, like, I don't really want to, as, like, a survivor myself, like, I don't really like going to, like, booktube or going to YouTube or someplace and just seeing, like, endless comments about sexual assault. Like, it's just not something I feel like thinking about. And it's not like I avoid those. I mean, obviously you can tell by some of my reading choices, like, I really like fiction that deals with, like, dark topics and is, like, honest and authentic, but I don't know. I just feel like, there's not really much to be said. Like, yeah, I liked the books. I can't change that I liked them and that I used to be really interested in his stuff. And, like, sadly, I actually found him through Tori Amos because I was a huge fan of hers, and obviously, a lot of things there. But, the reality is that, like, if it was one person, I could be like, okay, maybe it was a complicated situation. I'm not, obviously I would, I believe people, but I also think, sometimes, like, relationships can be really toxic, and a person might not be toxic, but they might be toxic with somebody. So, there can be things that people do to each other that, really aren't necessarily part of their character, but they're part of that particular, moment in time or relationship. But, if it was one person, yeah, I could do that. But it's been, like, what, 8? Like, 8 people didn't just, like, all have the same experience, and so, I don't know. That's all I have to say. Like, I'm not going to read anything else. Like, I don't know if he'll even have anything else. I don't know if, I don't feel like people care. Apparently abusing women is totally fine with most people now. But I yeah, that's all I have to say, and I don't really need to make a whole video about it. And yeah, so I think that's everything that's new in the last, I think it's been like 6 months since I've really posted anything. So other than like the few like summaries of 2024. So that's where things are at. And, I'm going to try to be a little more involved, but also, I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to try to do, I don't know if we'll do tags or if we'll just kind of do some recaps, maybe some, like I said, some projects. I don't know. We'll see. I have some stuff, like I said, I have to do around the house, and then I really need to play some video games. I need that, like, outlet. So, anyway, that's everything. Hope everybody's well. I'm sorry if I haven't been commenting on your videos or anything. It's nothing personal. There's just a lot to, like, catch up on, and it's hard. So, I will do my best, and be well. All right, bye.